Hey guys, welcome to Creatures of the Realm, episode 29. Tonight we have two creatures to go over. We have the elementals. Elementals, you know, you have your air, fire, water, and earth. You have your elements, and we're going to go over them. And then we have the Drow, which is the Elves. These are the Dark Elves. So let's go over elemental. And everybody who knows elementals, they know they are incarnations of the elements that make up the universe: air, earth, fire, and water, through little more than animated energy on their own planes of existence. They can be called by spellcasters and powerful beings to take shape and perform tasks. Living elements. On its home plane, an elemental is a bodiless life force. It's a dim consciousness manifests as a physical shape only when focused by power of magic. A wild spirit of elemental force has no desire except to course through the element of its native plane. Like beasts of the material plane, these elemental spirits have no society or culture and little sense of being. Conjured by magic. Certain spells and magic items can conjure an elemental, summoning it from the inner planes to the material plane. Elementals instinctively resent being pulled from their native planes and bound into service. A creature that summons an elemental must assert force of will to control it. Bound and shaped, powerful magic can bind an elemental spirit into material template that defines specific use and function. Invisible stalkers are air elementals bound to specific form, in the same way that water elementals can be shaped in water weirds. The strength of magic and materials that bind an elemental determines how well the elemental functions in bound form. Golems and elemental spirits bound to physical forms but weaker materials such as flesh and clay can bind elemental power sufficiently. Durable materials such as stone and iron require stronger magic, which consequently binds an elemental more securely. Elemental nature. An element doesn't require air, food, drink, or sleep. Let's go to the air elemental. How's everyone doing on Twitch and streaming on YouTube and Rumble? Hi everyone. Let's take a look here. The air elemental. The air elemental is a funneling cloud of whirling air with vague semblance of a face, although it likes to race across the ground, picking up dust and debris as it goes. It can also fly and attack from above. An elemental can turn itself into a screaming cyclone, creating a whirlwind that batters creatures even as it flings them away. These air elementals are neutral. Obviously, if you're a spellcaster, you could go ahead and summon these wonderful creatures. Now, we're going to go into the stats because it's important, because each elemental has unique qualities. Air elemental, especially this one, has damage resistance of lightning, thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. Let me get some water here. Excuse me. A little parched. Its damage immunity is poison. Condition immunities: exhaustion, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poison, prone, restrained, and unconscious. Those are the things you need to think about when you're dealing with an air elemental. Condition immunities, I already said that. Senses: dark vision, 60 feet, passive perception, 10. All that stuff is important. Languages: around. Challenge rating 5. It's about 1800 experience. Air form: the elemental can enter a hostile creature space and stop there, It can move through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide without squeezing. Obviously, it's an air elemental. It's air form. Multi-attack, the elemental makes 2 slam attacks. Slam, melee weapon, +8 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target, hit 14, 2d8 +5, bludgeoning damage. Whirlwind attack. It has a recharge, and again, for those of you, if you DM, a recharge, you roll 6-sided and a 4 and 6, you can recharge the special ability. Each creature in the elemental space must make a 13 DC saving throw, and a failure, a target takes 15, 3d8 +2 bludgeoning damage, and is flung up 20 feet away from the elemental in a random direction and knocked prone. If a thrown target takes an object, such as a wall or floor, the target takes 3 1d6 bludgeoning damage for every 10 feet it was thrown. If the target is thrown at another creature, that creature must succeed a DC Dex save of 13. If not, they take damage and then you're prone. If the saving throw is successful, the target takes half and the bludgeoning damage and is flung away or knocked prone. That's important if you DM. Very cool, and that is the air elemental. The stats are strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. The highest stat would be dex, because it's very fast. Strength coming next. Constitution, about a 14. And you have your wisdom, and then intelligence, charisma at 6 and a -2. Okay, Earth. Earth elementals. An Earth elemental plods forward like a walking hill, club-like arms of jagged stone swinging as its sides. Its head and body consists of dirt and stone, occasionally set with chunks of metal, gems, and bright minerals. Earth elementals glide through rock and earth as though they were liquid. Earthbound creatures that have much to fear from earth elementals, since the elemental can pinpoint the precise location of any foe that stands on solid ground in its vicinity. Very, very cool. And the creature looks very, very cool. No, Microsoft, I don't want to do a survey right now. Sorry. Earth Elemental. It is neutral. It's a large creature. It has an armor class of 17, 126 hit points, speed 30, burrow 30. The highest stat 20, Constitution 20, followed by Dex 8, Intelligence 5, Wisdom 10, Charisma 5. I'm not going to say the modifiers. You all can look it up, what they are. You just know by the numbers. The higher the number, the higher the modifier. Lower the number, the lower the modifier. Vulnerabilities, Thunder. That's pretty cool. Damage resistance, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. Damage immunities, poison. Condition immunities, exhaustion, paralyze, petrify, poison, unconscious. When it's poison, a creature has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability check. So there you go. Sense is dark vision 60 feet. Tremor sense 60 feet. When it's underneath the ground, it can sense. Can detect and pinpoint the origin of vibration with a specific radius. That's pretty cool. Tremor sense is awesome. Terrain is language. Challenge rating of 5, 1800 experience. Earth Glide. It can burrow through non-magical, unworked earth and stone. While doing so, the elemental doesn't disturb the material it moves. So it's very slick. But remember, it has a dex of 8, so it's not going to go too fast. Siege Monster. Elemental deals double damage to objects and structure. Very cool, because if you knock down the structure, and if there is a player or whoever, a creature or another creature in the area, the structure will fall and hit the player and or creature or creatures in the vicinity. That could cause massive damage. Okay, everything looked good streaming wise. Let's continue. Multi-attack. He has 2 slam attacks. A melee attack of 8 plus 8 to hit, reach 10 feet, and one target hit 14, 2d8 plus 5, bludgeoning damage. Very cool. We're gonna move on though. Fire Elemental. A faint humanoid shape threads through the core of the wild. Moving flame of Fire Elemental is a force of capricious devastation. Whenever it moves, it sets its surroundings ablaze, turning the world to ash, smoke, and cinders. Water can halt its destructive progress, causing the fire elemental to shrink back, hissing and smoking in pain and rage. Very cool. If you know what fire is, fire elementals are probably dead. Armor class is 13, hit points 102, speed 50. It's pretty fast. The highest stat here would be a 17, followed by a constitution of 16, and then a wisdom of 10, strength 10, and then the last stat would be charisma 7 and intelligence 6. Damage resistance. Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. And it's damage immunities, fire and poison, yada yada yada, you know that. Condition immunities, exhaustion, paralyzed, petrified, all that type of stuff. Prone, restrained, unconscious, poison. That's the condition immunities. Senses, dark vision, 60 feet, passive perception, 10. Language. Ignan? Whatever, I'm not going to pronounce it. I did. It's probably wrong, but it's I-G-N-N. Ignan. We'll go with that. Challenge 5, XP 1800. Fire form. The elemental can move through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide without squeezing. A creature that touches the elemental or hits it with a melee attack while within 5 feet takes 5 1d10 fire damage. Wow! In addition, the elemental can enter a hostile creature's space and stop there. The first time it enters a creature's space on a turn, the creature takes 5 1d10 fire damage and catches fire until someone takes an action to douse the fire. The creature takes 5 1d10 fire damage at the start of each turn. Obviously, you want to douse out the fire. If not, you're going to take some damage. That's pretty massive. Okay, illumination. Elemental sheds bright light in the 30-foot radius and a dim light an additional 30 feet. Water, for every 5 feet the water, 5 feet the elemental moves in the water, or for every gallon of water splash on it, it takes 1 cold damage. Actions. It has 2 touch actions. Melee attack plus 6, 5 feet, 1 target, hit 10, 2d6 plus 3 fire damage. That's not bad. If the target creature or the flammable object ignites until a creature takes an action to douse the fire, the target takes 5 1d10 fire damage at the start of each of its turns. Yes. So which means after you take damage, if you don't douse out the fire, you're going to take 1d10 fire damage. That's not good, but it's really cool. Last but not least, the water elemental. Before we go over the water, I am going to get a drink of water. Because, you know, we're going over the water, right? Last but not least. Okay. Large elemental. These creatures are all neutral. Okay. They're the elements. They're part of Gaia. So, armor class 14. A little bit higher armor class. Hit points 114. Speed 30. Swim 90 feet. That's pretty good. Strength 18 is the highest stat, followed by dexterity. Constitution is the next highest. Then followed by dexterity, which is 14. And then wisdom 10, and then charisma 8, and then last but not least, intelligence 5. It is resistant. Excuse me, I am so sorry. Damage resistance, acid, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. Damage immunities, poison, condition immunities, exhaustion, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poison, prone, restrained, and unconscious. For those of you who don't know what exhaustion is, okay, and it's immune to exhaustion. When a player in your campaign or your game has exhaustion level 1, you have disadvantage on abilities. Level 2, so your speed is halved. Level 3, disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. Level 4, hit point max halved. Level 5, speed is reduced to 0, and then 6, you die. That's pretty horrible. But it's immune to it. So now we have dark vision. One of his senses, 60 feet, passive perception of a 10. And those of you who don't know what dark vision is, a monster with dark vision can see in the dark with specific radius. The monster can see in dim light radius as if it were a bright light, and in darkness as if it were dim light. The monster can't discern color in darkness, only shades of gray. Many creatures that live underground have this special sense. Water form. The elemental can't enter a hostile creature's space and stop there. It can't move through a space as narrow as 1 inch, like the others, wide without squeezing. Freeze. This is cool. Elemental takes cold damage. It partially freezes. Its speed is reduced by 20 feet until the end of the next turn. Actions. Elemental has 2 slam attacks. +1, +7 to hit. Reach of 5, 1 target, 13, 2d8 +4, bludgeoning damage. And this is called Whelm. Recharges on a 4 and 6. To recharge, roll 6-sided, get a 4 or a 6. It will recharge. Each creature in elemental space must make a DC 15 strength saving throw. On a failure, a target makes a 13 2d8 +4 bludgeoning damage. If it's a larger or smaller, it is grappled. Escape DC 14 until the grapple ends. The target is restrained and unable to breathe unless it can breathe water. If the saving throw is successful, the target is pushed out of the elemental space. Elemental can grapple 1 large creature or up to 2 medium small creatures at one time. Obviously, if you remember, we've seen a lot of, Marvel movies and, a lot of special effect movies where water can just take multiple creatures. That's what it can do. It can start of each of the elemental's turns. Each target grappled by it takes 13 2d8 +4 bludgeoning damage. A creature within 5 feet of the elemental can pull a creature or object out of it by taking an action to make a DC 14 strength check and succeed. That's pretty cool, and that's all we have for elementals. Next up is the Drow. Now here we go. The Drow is very cool. Tens of thousands of years ago, the Elves were divided, with those of benevolent disposition battling those that were selfish and cruel. The war among the elven kind ended with the good elves banished through malevolent kin to the subterranean depths. Here in the likeness caverns and endless warrens of twisting passages, the dark elves, the Drow, found refuge. They also found leadership in the only deity who had not forsaken them. At her command, the Drow built an empire in the underworld. Drow, children of Lolith. The Drow worship Lolith, the deity who resides in the abyss, known as the Spider Queen or the Demon Queen of Spiders. She is a figure that around which the Drow have built their subterranean civilization. Whatsoever she demands, the Drow do. Drow are seldom seen in the surface world. They plot to destroy the elves that banish them. They no longer see themselves as exiles. They are destined rulers of the darkness, and when Lolith commands them to rise up and destroy the surface dwelling kin, they will. Creatures of darkness. The Drow have lived underground for so long that they have evolved to their surrounding and can't see in the dark. However, they no longer can stand sunlight. Obviously, they're like vampires. When laborers are in short supply in Underdark, the Drow send raiding parties to the surface to capture humanoids under cover of darkness, bringing them back to the cities tortured into submission. Beyond those occasional excursions, the Drow are content to remain in their subterranean realm where they feel secure and control. Underdark cities. The Drow would build fantastic cities in enormous caverns where food and water are abundant. Their ability to sculpt stone rivals that are the greatest dwarven artisans. Yet their structures retain a decently, excitingly elven aesthetics. Though the appearing delicate Drow settlements are structurally sound and remarkably resilient, the Drow like to hollow out enormous you're in a cave. I can't say it. I'm sorry, brain fart. It happens. They aspire to rise from the floors and ceilings. Anyways, that is the Drow. Drows are medium humanoid elves, neutral evil. Armor class 15, hit points 13. These are low-level Drows. Challenge rating of 4th, 50 XPs. I meant to say stalactites, which I could not say that. I don't know what happened, and that's hollow out enormous stalactites. That's what I wanted to say, so I apologize for that. It does happen sometimes. Their strength is 10, dexterity 14, constitution 10, intelligence 11 with wisdom 11, and then charisma 12. These are just low-level Drows, but do not hold back on these guys. These guys are very cool. Do not underestimate them. Skills, +2 perception, stealth, +4, dark vision, 120 feet, passive perception 12. Elvish Undercommon. Fey ancestry. Drow has advantage on saving throws against Charmed. What is Charm? A charmed creature can attack the Charmer or target Charmer with harmful abilities or magical effects. Charmer has advantage on any ability check to interact socially with the creature. Alright, so actions. +4 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target hit, 5, 1d6 plus 2, piercing damage. It's just a short sword. Hand crossbow. +4 to hit, range 30, 120. They're formidable at their, adversaries with their bows. So if you have Drows, remember, they're very cool to have. Drow magic. And we go to Drow Elite Warrior. 18 armor class, 71 hit points. Their biggest stat is 18, which is Dex, followed by Constitution, Strength, Constitution 14, Strength 13, and then followed by Wisdom 13, and then Charisma 12, Intelligence 11. And they are innate spellcasters, and again, they once a day, self only. They can do Fairy Fire, Darkness, and Levitate. At will, Dancing Lights. Your reactions, they can parry. The Drow adds 3 to its AC against 1 melee attack that would hit it. To do so, the Drow must see the attacker wielding the weapon. So, that's it. Again, this is Drow. It's an elite warrior. You get it, they get stronger. Let me see here. What's the next one? Drow Mage. Awesome. Armor class 12, hit points 45. He is a mage. This guy could summon demons once a day. Drow magically summons a demon. Shadow demon with 50% chance of success. Summoned demon appears in an unoccupied space with 60 feet of its summoner. Attacks as an ally of the summoner and can't summon other demons. It remains for 10 minutes. That can take a long time in combat. Until its summoner dies or its summoner dismisses it as an action. Okay, so once a day does Darkness, Fairy Fire, Levitation. Cantrips. Mage Hand. Very cool to have. I urge people, if you're playing spellcasters, Mage Hand, then Bigsby, you know what I'm talking, hand later on is very cool as well. If you decide to grab it, I would, because it's a high level spell, but it's very, very cool. Level 1, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Shield, Witch Bolt. Very cool. Level 2, Alter Self, Misty Step, and Web. Misty Step. You can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space. Very cool to have. Third level. The spellcaster does Fly and Lightning Bolt. Again, any situation, Lightning Bolt at higher levels is very, very cool. Fly as well. Level 4 spellcaster. This is Devard's Black Tentacles. Range 90 feet. Very cool. Greater invisibility. You know what this is? Yep. Then level 5, 2 slots. Cloud Kill. For those of you, for those of you who don't know what Cloud Kill is, you create a 20-foot radius sphere of poisonous yellow-green fog centered on a point you choose within range. The fog spreads around corners. It lasts for the duration or until strong wild wind disperses the fog, ending the spell. Its area is heavily obscured. When the creature enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn, it starts its turn there. The creature must make a Constitution saving throw. The creature takes 5d8 poison damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful. A creature are affected even if they hold breath or they don't breathe. That's very cool. And last but not least, we're going to go over Drow Priestess of Loth. Priestess of Loth. Lilith. Loith. Female Drow with blood ties to the noble house or molded and trained from birth to become priestess of Lilith. The Spider Queen doesn't allow male Drow to hold such positions. Such priestess execute the will of the Spider Queen. As a result, they wield tremendous power and influence in Drow society. The matriarch mothers who rule the Drow houses are the most powerful of the Lilith's priestesses, but they must constantly balance their devotion to the Spider Queen, which with their devotion to their families. Again, this challenge rating 8, 3,900 hit points. Very, very cool to have as an NPC. Armor class 16, hit point 71, 30 feet per speed. The highest ability is Wisdom. Charisma 18, Wisdom 17, then followed by Dexterity, Intelligence, and then Constitution, Strength. Saving throws, God, +4, Wisdom +6, Charisma +7. We're not going to go through this all the time because, it's a spellcaster. She has a lot of stuff. Innate spellcasting. I will go over this. Dancing lights. Typical for Drows. Darkness, fairy fire, and levitate. How intimidating. The Drow's 10th level spec. The Drow's 10th level spellcaster. Her spellcasting ability is Wisdom. Of course. Cantrips at will. Guidance. Poison spray. Resistance. Spare the dying. You touch a living creature that has 0 hit points. The creature becomes stable. The spell has no effect on undead or constructs. And then Thaumaturgy. Thaumaturgy, we all know it is very cool to have, and that's a great cantrip. Let's look at what she has at her highest level. Insect Plague. Ooh, I'm afraid of bugs. I don't like insects, but you know how it goes. Swarming, biting locusts fill a 20-foot radius. That's all I'm going to say. It's just, locusts are ugh. And here we have cicada season coming up in May, and it's not going to be a good thing. But either way, can you imagine just a bunch of locusts, and that's her powerful spell. Then Mass Cure Wounds. That's really cool. Yeah. So, and then she could summon a demon. Yeah, very cool. Anyways, this is the Drow Priestess of Lilith. And that's it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode of Creatures of the Realm. We're going to return for DM Talk. I'm going to start DM Talk a little bit earlier than normal. I do start at 11:45, but I'm going to start it within 5 minutes or so, give or take. And I will see you then for DM Talk. We've got a lot to go over. Thank you for showing up on Twitch and YouTube and Rumble. I'll see you at DM Talk shortly. Good night.